Universal health coverage, as the name suggests, is to provide quality healthcare services to the population at an affordable cost. So a good way to remember this is to use the acronym SAFE, S-A-F-E, where S stands for safety, A for accessibility, F for feasibility in terms of affordability, and E for effectiveness. And if we have a coverage which provides these various parameters to the population, we could say we have universal healthcare coverage. Universal healthcare coverage is very important because it addresses a very fundamental issue of human development, which is health. From an economic perspective, better health improves productivity, decreases absenteeism, and helps improve productivity and improves wealth. But from a human rights perspective too, I would argue that health is a fundamental human right. And I think if we do not provide universal healthcare coverage, we're having a rights violation. So both from the perspective of human rights and from the perspective of economics, universal healthcare coverage becomes a very important topic. Universal health coverage is more of a journey rather than a destination. And as we go on this journey, we are going to have multiple health benefits in terms of improved health outcomes. We could have equitable health outcomes, we could have affordable health outcomes, and we could also have good quality health in the end. So ultimately, it's perhaps going to lead to a stage where everybody leads a life of maximum physical, mental, and social well-being. Sustainable development means the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. If we look at the 17 goals of the Sustainable Development Goals, we have alleviation of poverty, we have hunger, we have safe water and sanitation, peace, gender equity. All these are fundamental determinants of health. So if we address any of these goals, it's going to make an impact on health. So definitely health is very much integrated within the Sustainable Development Goals. Just like we celebrate other days, we have World Health Day, we have World Diabetes Day, we recently had Remembrance Day in here, where we take an opportunity to remember the cause and the reasons why this day is celebrated. I think it's important to celebrate Universal Health Coverage Day so that we remember what it is and spread the message through social awareness in the media and make more people aware of what it is so that people can start working towards it. India has embarked on this very ambitious target of providing universal healthcare coverage, being a signatory to the SDG goals, and it has committed funding for UHC, but it's going to be a very difficult task. From the academic institute's perspective, I think we as academicians and research institutes have a very critical role to provide that evidence base required for good decision making for universal healthcare coverage and prioritization. So I think that's the role of academic and research institutes. The Indian government has launched the National Health Assurance Mission, NHAM, which is targeting universal healthcare coverage. And we, as academic research institutes, have a role to provide that evidence so that the direction of the mission is in the right direction. Let's imagine a triangle, and then the three corners of the triangle. We have the government at one corner, the private sector in the other corner, and the academia in the third corner of the triangle. Currently, these three corners of the triangle speak their own language. If you consider the people in the center, the corners are not talking of the people's voice. The private sector interacts with the government very aggressively. The academia is not it sits in its own ivory tower and not interacting very keenly with the government or the private sector. But what we need for universal healthcare coverage is these three poles or three corners of the triangle to come together and speak the same language, the voice of the people. I think if that happens, we have universal healthcare coverage. international collaborations and partnerships are very important to achieve UHC. And I believe they should be based on mutual respect, trust, and equality. I have spent almost 3 months here in the UK at the University of Liverpool, and I had some excellent interactions with potential collaborators. Then I met some very good friends. I made some good friends with Professor Anthony Collier, Calypso here at IDSI, and of course the Imperial College. So I think these are the ways which we need to move forward, engaging, discussing, sharing ideas, and thinking of plans which are looking at forming a consortium towards a forward direction, moving towards universal healthcare coverage. I also look forward to interacting with Dr. Yot in HITAP at Thailand when I visit Thailand later this year. And I think increasingly, I think the collaborative research becomes a very important force towards achieving universal healthcare coverage.